All right, it is time for our monthly meeting here. Today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. It is actually a beautiful day here in Greenville, South Carolina. But thank you all for joining in today. Uh, we have got some really exciting stuff to talk about. We're going to go over a few sales techniques. Looking forward to hearing from Barry and EL. They're doing some wonderful workshops wonderful workshops in their neck of the woods. They're going to share with us this morning. And then we'll get into some really cool compliance stuff, which is always fun. I'm excited about the technology stuff today because we've got a few apps to talk about, some AI as well. And then we'll close out with some operational stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to ask that you mute your line, please. And because I am getting a little bit of background there. I think, Bob, there we go. A few of you are popping through. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get moving. Bear with me 1 second, please. About this. It was not set up. Here we go. Can y'all see my screen down here? I'm getting nods. All right. I just wanted to follow up from the presentation last month and remember just these 5 points again. I want to review them. I know some of you weren't on it. There is a recording out there. I would highly encourage that you take some time and please go through it. I think it's only maybe 20 to 30 minutes long, but this really talks about kind of our 5 core growth plan as a firm. Again, if Fiduciary, we give you the flexibility to grow your firm or, grow how you want to grow. But for us to best help you and to best provide support and resources for you, we're advocating these 5 things. And but anyway, I got a lot of great feedback from y'all. So, just to review real quickly, we talked a little bit about the 1-page business plan. I have the template. I've sent it to some of you individually. I'll go ahead and get it out to everybody as well. It's a great template. It'll have actually parallel financials business plan on there. So you can even, if you want to copy from us, you're more than welcome to. But it's really good there. We talked about segmenting and optimizing clients. You're going to hear a little bit later in the call today from Abby about that because we're doing a data cleanup that's really going to help us get you, because, I'll drop down here to number 4 about knowing your numbers and your KPIs. When our book of business is optimized and segmented correctly, it allows us to create very robust numbers and KPIs around that helps you can track along. Okay, how am I doing? Am I on track? Am I hitting my goals? Am I really spending my time with my A clients, right? And this was point number 3, diving deep into our A clients, right? That's where we get our referrals from, and how do we do that? And then the last thing we talked about was personal development, right? We don't sell a product. It's really the goodwill that we bring, the trust and credibility that we bring to our clients. And so if we're not developing ourselves and growing and learning and in a healthy place mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, then we're not going to be able to provide the best value to our clients. So just want to review that from last month. I'll have the video, there is a link out there. If you didn't get it, just let me know and I'll get you the link. But let's go ahead and get into today's presentation, and I'll make it bigger here so hopefully you all can see it better. Getting to know. Why is this called getting to know? And as always, I like to keep this extremely conversational. So please just pop in with a question if you've got one, or anything along those lines. Interrupt me and we can talk about it, because the more conversational, interactive it is, the better. We've heard a lot of sales training about getting to yes, getting your client to say yes. We need them to say yes, 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 yes. And I want to propose to you today that sometimes I believe it's better, and this, doing this now for 27 years, I believe it's better to get them to say no, and sometimes getting them early on to say no. And so that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today. Let's look at this scenario. One of your best clients refers someone to you, okay? You meet with them, right? The meeting goes fantastic. It's amazing, right? 3 million in investable assets. I don't know about you. Anybody here would like 3 million in investable assets just showing up on your front door, ready to go, ready to invest? I mean, my hand's up. But yes, I would absolutely love that. Not only that, they agree to pay for a financial plan and they're ready to sign the paperwork today. Now, you met in their office. You didn't bring anything with you. Nothing's ready, but they're ready to sign. So what do you do? I'm asking. This is a question. So if just curious, unmute your line, someone pop in. What do you do at this point?
Push back.
What do you say?
Push back a little bit.
Push back a little bit. All right, that's good. What? Yeah, okay. Push back.
Ask them why they're coming to meet with you.
Why? Okay, why they're meeting, right?
Help me understand why you're coming. It seems like you're doing great.
Yeah. Well, no, let's just say, yeah, okay, I'll give you the reason. They don't like they just don't like their other advisor. Advisor stinks. Can't stand him. Don't want to deal with him anymore. They called him up the other day and they didn't call him back, and they're ready to move on. So that's
Tell me more about that. Get them anchored in.
They're ready to sign. They're ready to move forward, right?
And you got to slow them down and take them through a process.
Oh man, did you see my presentation, Will Bratt? It sounds like you did, right? So look, you met with them in their office. It was only a discovery meeting, right? You tell them they will have everything in their inbox by the end of the day, all right, to DocuSign, right? They're ready to go. They're ready to sign. So you know what? I'm going to run back to my office. I'm going to have everything in the inbox by the end of the day. Now, a week has passed. Nothing's been signed. You've messaged them. You're expressing again, how can you help them and make their financial life better? They just need to sign the paperwork so we can move forward. You've left a couple of voicemails as well. No reply. Now, I'm just curious. I'm going to raise my hand again. Has this happened? Now, I know I'm probably the only person in this entire room this has happened to, right? Has this happened to anyone else ever in the history of financial advising? All right, David's raising his hand. Anyone else? I guess. Yeah, okay. You finally get a response. They've been so busy, they haven't had time to sign the paperwork, but they'll get it done this week. They're going to get it done. They apologize. Hey, I'm so sorry. I've just been busy. That, going on there, right? Then another week passes, right? They still haven't signed anything. So what are we doing at this point, right? What are we doing? We're chasing somebody down, right? We're chasing them down and we're spending precious time chasing someone. So what's gone wrong, right? The initial meeting went fantastic. You were finishing each other's sentences. You were high-fiving. Everything was great. They said yes. They agreed. They told you, right? I mean, if their word is their word, like, let's move forward. Give me the paperwork, right? One of your top clients referred them. How could we even be in this situation? Well, here we go. Did you, in this situation, right? Did you give them the opportunity to say no? Did you give them the opportunity? I'm going to go over that here in just a minute. Did you take them through your sales process, right? Just like Chris said, did you actually take them through? I mean, this was just a discovery meeting, right? So what do you do in a discovery meeting? You're just asking questions. You're getting to know them. You're getting to understand what they're doing, right? Did you ask really good, relevant questions to determine their emotional need? Why is this important? And I'm asking the question, why is it important to determine someone's emotional need? They already told you what their need was. I don't like this advisor and I want to move the account. Is that really their emotional need? Why is it important for us to determine what it is that's really driving them?
So we can understand if it's someone that is a good fit for us and that we can meet their needs or their expectations.
Right. Okay. Fit is yep. So we got to understand, are we going to be a good fit together? Absolutely right. What else? Anyone else?
clearly signing papers and moving forward is not that important to them, or else I would have done it. So we got to get to that emotion of why.
Right. And why do we have to get to the emotion of why? It's because nobody makes a change, right? No one will make a change unless the pain, that emotional pain to make that change is greater. Or excuse me, the emotional pain to stay in the situation they're in is greater than the pain of making the change. And if we don't take the time to really identify what is that emotional need, what is that pain in them, what will happen? A week will go by, and you know what, right? Look, I'm a very emotional person. Those of you who work with me know that. I get worked up, and then what happens? A day or two goes by, and I move on and I forget about it. That pain's not there anymore, right? So have we really found out what that emotional need is? Because if it's that surface thing that they're talking about and that goes away, guess what? Right? They go silent. They stop returning emails. They stop calling you back. They get busy, right? Did we build vision in them? Vision is like, what does it look like for you to work with me, right? This gets to what EL was talking about, the fit. Like, is this going to be a good fit, right? Did we state commitments? Commitments are, kind of like, all right, we're going to, again, this gets back to the process. We're going to meet, we're going to do this. And, if at this point, I'm going to make these commitments to you. One thing that I don't do, and kind of going through this, I've really thought about even when I'm talking to folks, is whether it's a client or an advisor, it's saying, as a firm and as an advisor, I'm going to make these commitments to you. Now I ask all of my clients to make these commitments to me. Does that sound fair? I've not had that conversation with a lot of my folks, and I really feel kind of as I'm going through this, that is something that is important as well. Did we establish who the decision makers are, right? I mean, you met, let's say it's a guy and you just met with him in his office, right? Well, come to find out, he's not the one making the financial decisions for the family. It's the wife, right? He never said that. I know some men that will come out and say, I'm the one here. I'm the guy that does it. But a lot of times, I think sometimes they're embarrassed that they don't make those financial decisions. Their wife does. Did we have both of them in the room when we were talking? Did we establish the time frame of the process? So let us just go through here a couple things, right? Let's talk. Today, I just want to focus on these first two, give them the opportunity to say no and take them through your sales process. I want to talk through these two, and then next month, I was going to spend some time and talk through these next three. So we're not going to cover them all today just due to time. But here's an idea. All right, just some scripting here that I wanted to present to you all and get your thoughts on, right? All right, in this case, let's just say you are meeting with husband and wife. Bob and Jane, thank you for meeting with me. Sally's a great client. It means so much to have her refer you to me. Please know, however, that I don't work with everyone. My goal today is to make sure we're a good fit working together. And if either of us determines we are not, then we'll simply go our separate ways. Fair enough? How does that sound to y'all? Does it sound a little harsh, maybe? A little cold?
Just subtle.
I know when I
pushback.
initially, what was that?
Push pull. Just
Push,
subtle
pull?
pushback. Like I do a push pull technique that you're pulling them, and then this is kind of that slow pushback. Like,
Yeah,
make them feel hungry to work with you, right?
exactly. Right. Right. Building the need in them. Absolutely. Bob and Jane, here's just another word. Before we begin, I'd like to establish something important. Our meeting today is about exploring whether we're a good fit to work together. Either of us can say no at any point if we feel this isn't the right match. My goal isn't to sell you something today. It's simply to understand your needs and see if I can truly add value. Would you be comfortable with this approach? So just another way to say the same thing. I love it. Push, pull, you said fit. Really trying to see if this is a good fit, right? We need to give I really believe we need to give clients the opportunity to say no, or the opportunity to, like you say, either we're pushing back or give them the opportunity to push back, because people don't like saying no, right? Saying no means you might be disliked. You might hurt someone's feelings. Maybe you might come, they don't want to come across blunt or arrogant, or when you say no, it's final. Like I said, no, I'm walking away. We're never going to talk again, right? This is the mindset that most people have. And so people don't want to say no. So what do? They'll say yes. There'll be a quick yes sometimes, or there'll be a maybe. And then it's like we start down the black hole of chasing them down. And is this the real, and then we just go and go and go and go. But if right up front we establish, look, we're just trying to see if we're a good fit. And at any point you can walk away, any point I can walk away. If can we agree on that? Well, then you're giving that. And I believe that allowing that to happen, it removes pressure. It creates space for real discussion. Like we're not selling anymore, right? It allows both parties to explore all their options. And I think it just creates a foundation of honesty rather than politeness, right? We want to be just honest and transparent. But here's the thing that I also think it does as well. Oh, sorry. Well, I'll tell you what, I am going to jump just quickly ahead here. Yes, I'll come back to the sales process in a minute. I think what it does, it establishes that we do not need this client. I do not need this account, and I do not need this deal, right? Because if a prospect senses any type of neediness in us, right? Or like, I really need this, I'm going hard after this. What happens at that point? Who then now starts controlling the interactions? The client does, right? The client then is now in control, right? Because I need this. Now, I don't know about you, but I need a $3 million client. I mean, I'm not going to lie, right? I mean, it's a great amount of revenue. It's a great client. It's a great thing, right? Like the reality is absolutely. So how do we get this mindset of like, you get this great opportunity, but you have the mindset of, I don't need this deal. I don't need this client, and I don't need this account. Any thoughts around that? Yeah.
I think you have to understand your value.
Well, yeah, I'm bringing a lot of value here, but also like this is who I'm going after. This is my ideal client. This is who I've created this practice for. This is who I'm going for. And they want to move forward. I need this. I'm building my business. I'm building this, we're building this thing up. Not only that, like, I've got 5 kids with another 3 on the way. I got bills to pay. Well, I think it is a hard thing because I think most of us do when we see a fat pitch or we see a really good ideal client, the mindset is like, I got to get this thing closed. I got to close this thing. I need this. I got to close it. And I think really checking ourselves and coming in a place that, no, I don't need this. I've got to build the need in them, not in me, right? I got, I think Barry mentioned earlier, right? I got to build a need in them to want to work with me, right? So what do? We have to take them through our sales process, right? We have so we built this for Parallel a while back. But so let's just say here, you're at this, right? In this example, I said, you're at the discovery fit area, right? Well, this is usually a number of meetings here where we fit, we ask questions, we gather information, we make sure we're a good fit. Then we decide if we want to move forward. Then we meet again. We sit down. Here's how we can help you. Here's what you said, right? Here are the things you told me. Here's how we can fix this. Here's how we can solve these pains for you, right? Then if they agree to that, then we get to pay, right? So in this case, he said he's ready to sign. So I move that prospect all the way down to paperwork down here. And then we started playing the game of they didn't sign. We're waiting. What's going on? And they were still back here. I've done this a lot where, I'm always like, if someone's ready to go, let's go. And a lot of times I've not taken the importance of taking them through our process even if they're ready to sign right here, hey, and I love that push pull, Mr. and Mrs. Client, I get that, but we have a defined process here. It would really be beneficial for you. Let's go through this process and let's really make sure we're going to be a good fit together, right? Because the sales process, it'll establish the decision makers. You take them through the process, you're going to find out who's really pulling the strings here and making the decisions. It sets the time frame. And it also determines the stages and off ramps. Because again, at any stage of this process, you're giving them the chance to say no at any point. And there's off ramps here, right? And an off ramp doesn't mean you're never going to talk to them again. It just means we're not running through this now. You're not a fit. Okay. We're going to go ahead and, what's the reason? And then what's the step that we off ramp you to? Maybe we move you back into a drip campaign, right? Or, whatever we do, but there's off ramps in that process. So we don't need this client. That's a mindset. It's something I struggle with a lot. How do we show that we're needy? By talking too much, right? If we're in that discovery meeting and we're doing all the talking, I would say that is a way we can show that we're being needy, right? No talking. Let's do all the asking. Let them talk. We control our neediness by building theirs, right? So we want to build their neediness, right? Is their need logical or emotional? They usually have two needs, right? Maybe, oh, my current advisor is charging me too much fees. That's a logical need. I need to fix that, or and I feel like I'm getting fleeced. Well, there's your emotional need, right? But we have to build those things up and define what those are in them. And we do that by doing as little talking as possible and asking really great questions. Oh, let me do this. I wanted to show you this. This is kind of a side note here, but let's see here. I know I have it in here somewhere. Oh gosh, where are you? So I don't know about you, but I get a lot of emails I get a lot of solicitation emails constantly from people. Okay. And let's look at some of these emails, and I just want you to tell me if this is needy or not. Brian, I've reached out a few times. I'd love to coordinate a brief call to introduce my firm. And I work with We've grown rapidly. We're searching for strategic partner, regional director of South Carolina. I love the opportunity. I'd love. Anytime I see, I'd love to schedule a call with you. I'd love to meet with you. I'd love to get together with you. I don't know about you, but it screams neediness to me, right? Like, oh, right? Not one question in here, just we're amazing, we're awesome, we kick ass. And I save these because I'm always trying to, I don't know, let's look at this one here. My name's Doug Moffitt, my former colleagues of mine. Oh, how about this one? Harborview was founded in 2007 by former colleagues of mine from Goldman Sachs. I mean, when you can drop Goldman Sachs in whatever sales presentation you're doing, right? My personal background includes 37 years of financial services, including 16 years in family office. I've attached my bio for your reference. Me. I'm needy. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful you would be open for, how needy is that statement? I'm hopeful you would be open for a conversation. So anyway, I'm just trying to give some examples of if we're having that discovery meeting and it's all about us and we're talking about all the things we can do and how we can help and what amazing we are and all the products we have and all the solutions we can do and everything like that, and we're this and this and that, I think it falls somewhat into these type of communicate. Like, we're being needy. Like, we're saying, like, I'm so amazing and I need you to move forward with me. So getting back to this, I wanted to just kind of as an added here, and I've only got 3 minutes left, so I need to speed up. Let's go back to this situation, right? This scenario where the client basically he's not getting back to you. He's not calling you, right? I don't know. These are some email examples I found that work, right? Just very short, the subject line, radio silent. John, you went a little radio silent. Would you still like to meet or back burner? That's it. John, do you still need help with financial planning? That's it. Short, sweet, quick question. Here's another one. John, you went a little radius. I'm assuming you decided to move in another direction. All good. I'll go ahead and close this out so we don't ping you anymore. Best on your new business or best on whatever you're doing. Thanks, Brian. Moving on. When I've used these a lot of times, what ends up happening is I would say probably 50 to 60% of the time, the client, I will get a response. Oh, no, 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 no. Everything's fine. Everything's great. No, 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 no. Sorry. Da, da, da. Or I'll get something along those lines. Some of you have even seen those bomb. We're going to go over bomb here in a minute. But when I can't get someone to call me back, I'll just send them a bomb email. And I would say I get usually a 70 to 80% response on those because they normally don't get an actual video in their email right there on their phone that they can just press and watch. And it's just me going, hey, John, you went a little radius silent. Hey, if you moved another, all good. I will get a response out of there. So closing versus fit. We've been talking about this, right? Stick to your sales process, ask questions, establish their need, build vision, identify their emotional pain. And so, we covered these 2 bullet points today. Give them the opportunity to say no, take them through your sales process. It's key. Don't be needy. And so next month, we're going to cover these 3 bullet points here. We're going to kind of go over, what are some questions we can ask to determine their emotional need? How can we structure that discovery meeting? How can we build vision in them, right? Building vision is putting that vision in them of what it looks like to work with us, right? What does it look like to have success with us, or what does it look like there? So we're going to go over that next month. Any thoughts, questions, comments? Nobody?
I mean, we had this Barry, we had a situation yesterday that she's nodding. It was a new person. It was part of our workshop people that came through, but she's nodding, agreeing. I need that. Makes sense. A lot of positive vibes, but we push back to have a number 2 for Friday to kind of just keep control of the meeting and keep control of the process, right? And not acting like it's a kind of fire drill type situation. So, it is, I practice that push pull technique. Could I have signed her up with Schwab with her Fidelity IRA yesterday? Yeah, I think so. But then, she goes home at night and, wakes up on a cold sweat and says, what did I just do? Right. So it's, what do you call that? Buyer's remorse, right? So you got to create the pain points that we've talked about and reason why, right? Build a case, grow roots. Right. So that happened yesterday. So I think it's similar to what you're talking about.
Awesome. Any other thoughts, comments?
I think you did a great job, like kind of laying out all the different scenarios that, as advisors that we run through, client interaction and how you position yourself as not a salesperson, but as, a leader in what you're doing. I think sales tactics, they might catch somebody's attention in the very beginning, but at the end of the day, it ends up prolonging the whole process. And I think that that world's kind of changed a lot, unless you're the type of person that just is trying to meet with volume. And I don't think any of us in here are really trying to meet with volume. We're trying to be very directed. And so once you have those types of relationships and contacts with people, how you talk matters. Not that you're trying to be persuasive, but in a way you're trying to lead them to a place to where they're answering their own questions. And like a lot of the things that you threw out, I think the short, abrupt emails when somebody's not responding to you is powerful. I think that when you're reaching out to people, you should never say, hey, I'm checking in to see if you were able to get this done. I think the words checking in, the lingo behind that. Like I just think that it kind of puts you on a different level than whoever you're reaching out to. Instead of saying, you know, haven't heard back from you, where would you like to go from here? And like just the different types of verbiage that you use can completely change the tonality of the conversation. It's harder to do in email. I think it's way easier to do in person. And we should capitalize on that time whenever we have clients in office or on phone. And then in emails, it is good to be direct.
It's hard though, especially when we're starting out. I mean, if you have a big established book of business, you know, your mindset changes, I think, a lot more in terms of, well, I don't really, you know, like, I don't need this. I don't need this account. I don't need this client. But when you're starting out, you know, here's a mirror. Can you fog it? Yes, you can be my client. You know, I mean, let's be honest, like, I think we've all done that, right? And so, you know, what I say is, excuse me, my experience has been a lot of those clients that we took early on that fogged mirrors that weren't good fits have since left. And it's a good thing. Like, you know, they either, you know, cost a lot of time, or we were, you know, a lot of mismatch and just, you know, created stress and all these other things. So